Hello and welcome everyone to this new final happening tonight. It's the One Provence Challenge 2 final, so the second final in the One Provence Challenge after Challenge 2. Challenge 2 being on the star, so we have the top 20 of that star challenge. Hopefully aiming to score in the top 5 to reach and secure a spot for the grand final later in June. That's going to be the 8th of June. With me tonight is Ame. Ame, how are you doing?
Hey Oscar, I'm doing okay, thanks. Very happy to join you. Thanks for having me, and we are anticipating a very nice and exciting final with 2 star races. So looking forward to having a good time commentating.
Indeed. So why do we have 2 star races? Well, it's simple. Since the challenge was in the star, we're giving more importance to the star in the final, because this is the boat these players qualified with. So technically could have this boat as a favorite. So the star, what can you say about the star? The star is a pretty slow boat, but has a nasty wind shadow. Is there any tips you can share with us about the star?
Well, the main thing is just to take a safe start, and it basically works with every boat to be in front, but in starts it's especially important to get in the top 5, because in this level of racing, the players are very experienced and they are trying to go fast, not to hamper, spoil anyone's race. And obviously the back of the plate will consolidate and shadow everyone in front. So the top 5 usually just sneak ahead without any shadow, and that's where you want to be. So basically the good thing is to go to one of the sides and have some clean air and try to be in the top 5. At least that worked to me last time.
Agreed. I was speaking about this last time. I know the strategy can be quite different depending on the player. Some players would prefer chasing the boats in front, so putting the others in their wind shadow, while others will, like you, I'm guessing, prefer to be in the top of the fleet and try to defend their position against the other boats behind. So I guess we're going to see a shift in strategies between these players here. Speaking of the players, I guess we can go over the list of the names we see. A lot of familiar names, maybe a couple of less familiar names. The first one in the ranking currently on the left is Bart. So Bart is a real sailor, in the sense that he is the 49er champion for, I forgot the name of the championship, but he's won several medals in real sailing as well as in eSailing. So a very strong player there.
He's several times world champion. Also, he's Olympic finalist, a very good from boat and a very consistent boat. And moreover, he doesn't spend that much time in the blue races or in the custom regatta, but he still shows amazing result in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's no surprise to see him in the front.
Yep, and we see Alex K, RS, in the front right now. So Alex K is our ex-champion, our 2023 eSailing World Champion, the French eSailer. Also real sailor in the Ilka French team. Hopefully he can make it for the Olympics, or is en route to be in the Olympics, and looks like he's clear of any wind shadow, so it's going to be smooth sailing for him on this first downwind.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just very lucky, and maybe not lucky, but happy, of course. It's not surprised to see him in front. He's also a very good sailor and a former world champion. And as you can see, he has 110 meters, which gives him a very comfortable lead without any risk to be cut. And we have several other boats in front, that is Type Coach and 42 Lorenzo. They are also looking very good. Even though they are in the shadow, the other boats trailing them are also covered, which makes their speed even with those boats, so they are second and third for sure. And what I anticipate them doing is just rounding the mark safe to maintain that lead. That means a lot to them.
Yep, especially approaching the downwind. If you can get as much lead as you can during the upwind, then that's going to put you in a more comfortable position for the downwind after that. As they start rounding the first gate over here. So another upwind, then another downwind, and it'll be over for the first race. Just seeing in chat right now, Jer7, eSailing. Hi Oscar, hi Ame. Good evening everyone, thanks for streaming. Well, thank you for hopping in. It's nice to see you in the chat.
Hi, Jer7. And I would like to put your attention on Pedrini. That's pretty a new build to me. I saw him in the One Provence for the first time. Maybe I'm not that attentive, but it's really nice to see him in the top 5.
For sure, Pedrini is also a new name for me, so I didn't see him before, and I do see him more now, so great to see some new names getting into these top positions, and hopefully for him qualifying for the grand final on June 8th. Speaking of names we don't see that much, Mike, IG at Mike ODDJV, formerly known as Deja Vu. I don't think I've seen him recently in the leaderboards. Looks like he just took eSailing again. Used to be a very good eSailer.
And he was the bronze finalist of the SWC in 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, so a very good eSailer, and good to see he's still kicking it, he's still in it. And but looking at other names, we have Sidelow Finn, that we've seen during the Nations Cup in the Polish team, so very strong team racer, but also very strong fleet racer that we've seen in several finals in the different circuits in the game, so whether it's the One Provence or the eSailing World Championship. I do believe that he prefers F50s as his favorite boat, so the Star is quite different than the F50. So we'll see how he fares.
But I can tell you he's doing a lot of match racing in Star, so he's very good and very comfortable with that belt, so I'm sure he's quite enjoying his position now because he is in the top 10, which is pretty good by the first race. But I would like to put your attention on Suzuki, who's sneaked into 4th, and that's a very consistent belt. The Japanese champion of 2023, very good belt.
Yep, Kazuki is a very strong name that we, very strong player that we see regularly as well in these finals. We were talking about, names that we see regularly, and Kazuki and FC Rich, currently 16 for FC Rich, are two Japanese players that have been just dominating the eSailing scene recently, so they're just keep improving and keep qualifying into these big events. So definitely keep an eye on these players, because they are fairly consistent. And talk about consistency, actually, in eSailing, that's where it's sailing as well. That's probably the better strategy that you should take. So scoring in eSailing, how it works, it's a low point scoring system, so your position equals the number of points. And rather than aiming to be first on one race and then trying to being first on one race and then ending 10th on another isn't as effective as, for example, being second several times in a row. And I am back. Apologies for the stream. Apologies, Ame. Looks like my Wi-Fi is having issues so far. So I'm missing the top 2 players, and they were top 3 players. They were Alex K and
Lorenzo 42 and Pedrini. Really well done from Pedrini. He managed to grab the last podium just at the very end.
So let's have a look. And indeed, so Alex K first. We've talked about this player. He's going to be a very strong player, and a very consistent player as well. Lorenzo 42 is also one of the names that you regularly see in these finals. Pedrini, I'm going to call him the newbie, just because we haven't seen him much in these finals, and it's great to see that he is currently 3rd. So hopefully he can keep this position throughout the competition, throughout the 5 races. And we can actually talk about the 5 races that we see. So first one was in Star, second one is going to be the Far East 28R. So the Far East, I kind of have a hard time trying to explain what the Far East is. It's a kind of like a J70, but not exactly. It's probably a bit lighter than the J70, and doesn't have as strong as a wind shadow than the J70, for example. What can you say about the Far East, Ame?
On the one hand, it's really like a J70 because it's rather small. Slow boat. but on the other hand, it's very different because of the deeper running angle, and it feels heavier, even though it's a light belt. It feels much heavier to me, at least in the game, because you still feel some momentum. And one more thing is that it has more speed than the J70, and when I say speed, it has more acceleration. The J70 has some fixed speed that's about from 5.9 to 6.2 knots, depending on the wind. Forest has much more speed on the acceleration, and that makes it more tactical, I would say. So J70 is tactical depending on the shifts, whereas Forest has another aspect of different angles, different heading angles.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining that. Gold Room Tunes, 9 competitors in the world top 20 in this regatta. Very high level. My prediction for the 5 qualified: Alex K, 42, Kazuki, Stipe Coach, and Bart. That is a very safe bet, and indeed this the level of this regatta is going to be extremely high with the names that we see here. So they will have to fight to earn their top 5 spot in this final. And then Chris 1707D, good evening Oscar and Ame, good luck sailors. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. And an interesting tactic at the start. You can see some boats taking positions and waiting for the start signal, and some boats who are coming from behind with some higher speed, trying their luck to have the speed start, given some penalties probably, and sneaked into the top 5. Because Forest has some peculiar shadow, and it's very easy to escape the shadow and escape the back of the plate as well.
So we're likely going to see the ranking shift a lot throughout this race. Well, we can talk about the ranking right now. We have currently the 2 leaders of this fleet according to the ranking is Nozet and 767. Nozet, the Spanish player that we do see regularly as well. Again, one of the names that we recognize. I don't know how if you know Nozet well enough, Ame, if you sail with him or not.
Yeah, I know. Of course, he's a good friend of mine, and he's a very fast boat. Sometimes a bit inconsistent, but Nozet is definitely a boat who's capable of winning the grand final. So very nice to see him in front. And also we have Breast Power and 767. I would say all 3 boats are very fast. They probably don't show up in the grand final that often. Maybe just not now that goes up, but both Breast Power and 767 are very fast and maybe underestimated boats.
I agree as well. 767 actually is a name that we've seen, well, we didn't see in the previous final, but he was qualified, he just couldn't attend. So it's the second time that he finished in the top 20. Just as you, by the way, you qualified during the first challenge final, and you didn't qualify, and you could also qualify during the second, but your place was not given because you already had your spot in the grand final.
It was just fun to register when you're qualified. just a bit of a humor. And
No, for sure.
I would like to add, you were saying a very nice thing, that consistency is the key to win the regatta. But sometimes if you are bad with your consistency, the only solution is huge inconsistency. So if you have a bad result, you should cover it with some really good results. So that's another option to win the race.
Managing to finish first is going to give you only 1 point, so it's almost like a free race. For sure, if you're struggling, especially in a fleet like this where you have big names and high levels, if you're struggling to get consistency, then for sure try to aim for at least 1 race in the top position. That'll maybe help you to stay in the top 5.
And we can see, if I'm not mistaken, in Polish it is pronounced Szydlofin. He's currently in 2nd position, which will give him very nice overall. I don't see anything that can hamper him to finish on the podium, just unless him and Breast Power decide to go for some tough fighting.
Yeah, and looks like they're gonna go their separate ways one on the right, the other on the left. As Stéphane Gazan sneaked in as well. Stéphane Gazan also one of the names that we do see and we do recognize, who also has a potential to win the race, and why not score in the top 5 at the end.
He was an ASWC champion, and formerly he's known as Valentin Leza, one of the top French belts, one of the fastest belts.
Yep.
And we have Pedrini again in top 5, which is also great. And I would add to some players, to some viewers who are not really good with the English, newbie means a newcomer, not enough. Don't miss this two words. Don't get confused.
Yep. I'm just looking at the list again on the side, and another boat we didn't talk about yet is Das Boot OST, who's also a strong sailor. Again, well, obviously I'm not going to repeat that for every sailor that we see tonight, because, well, they were in the top 20 of the challenge, so they were very good sailors. But another name that you should probably recognize after a few finals. It looks like we did have one disconnect. That's unfortunate.
It's nice to see Das Boot in the final. He definitely fast in Provence, and he's probably the fastest belt in his country, Hungary. Of course, there are not just only one fast belt, but I believe he's Hungarian champion or something. And very nice to see him here.
Yep, absolutely. Hungary, well, hopefully we'll see them in the Nations Cup, either offshore and inshore, if they can gather enough eSailors and accept to sign up with World Sailing. We might see Das Boot lead their team to hopefully success.
Yeah, and I'm sure that at least one boat from the nation motivates others to keep racing and show better results. Das Boot is definitely doing some great job for the Hungarian national team.
Absolutely.
And
so this is the last leg right now. Sorry, I cut you off. Last leg, breast power. Looks like he's going to be the one crossing the finish line first. And then it's going to be between Finn and Stéphane Gazan, though I do think Finn has the advantage.
And that's a very nice move from Nalzet. As you can see, he went even below the ley line to the darker pressure, and he could probably get into the podium, depends on Finn's position. So I believe Valentin Leza, Stéphane Gazan should do something in order to finish ahead. Not sure yet. I don't see how the pressure difference, but it's tricky.
It's tricky, but I think Stéphane Gazan is going to be crossing the finish line before Nozets. Although it is close.
Slightly out. Very well done. And we see Mike Deju in 767 in 5th and 6th position. An interesting thing is we see Alex K struggling this race. Of course, it doesn't decide anything. There are 3 races to go, but we see him doing first in the first race, and now he's kind of spoiling his good result with this one.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't jinx him, and he can get back into it. This position is going to hurt him a bit. It's not, well, it is in the bottom 50%, but it looks like Harder was the one who got disconnected. So yeah, we're going to prepare race 3. Race 3 is going to be in the Nacra 17. We'll talk about it in a second. And looks like Harder has dropped out, so we'll be continuing the final with 19 boats.
It's amazing to see Shidlofin on the top. As you mentioned, consistency is important, and Shidlo proves it. He had 6th and 2nd, 6th in first race and 2nd and in second race, and we can see him in kind of a good place. And if he carries on that in that manner, in that way, he can really qualify. It's basically good to see him since he's kind of new to the game. He is not that well known, but he definitely shows he can participate on a very high level. And we have side coach Crearia, a very strong and very famous build in the VRI community. He's also doing okay, 11 points. Then we have Nelzat. Also, we can see all top 3 very consistent. Mike Deja Vu in top 4, and Pedrini. Both Deja Vu had a very long break, and it's good to see him on the podium. Sorry, not on the podium, but in top 5 and 3. Why I point out these 2 builds? Just because they are kind of underdogs, and this makes the final more exciting and more tricky.
Yep. Absolutely. So it is good to see these names at the top of the leaderboard. Hopefully for them they can maintain this this level. Alex K, who finished the first race first, is now down to 7th, but that doesn't mean he is out yet. 40 seconds to start. Nacra 17, so I quickly introduced it. Is there anything else maybe you want to mention about this boat?
We should just note that's a very fast build. What I would say is some people are very seduced by setting the spinnaker while there is the reaching start, but that's a very high risk, and it doesn't always pay off. So normally boats that don't set the spinnaker and have a good speed at the start, they win the race. And we can see one boat at the spinnaker approaching. There's another one fast comer, and let's see if they risk payoff. We see Nelzat taking a very nice start.
And looks like the Dust Boot is going to be the first one to round the first mark over here on the downwind, closely followed by FC Rich, Moro di Napoli, Stefan Garzon, and Ramon Parejo.
Great race by Dust Boot.
Yep, so yeah, go for it.
And as we saw, as I mentioned, it's a high risk, but sometimes it pays off. But we still see some boats in front who didn't set the spinnaker.
Yep, and it all depends also with how biased is the start line compared to the wind. So if the wind is going to be slightly behind you, maybe you prefer putting your spinnaker out directly. Whether if it's slightly upwind, then probably remove it.
The conditions are beautiful. You can see some lighter waters and darker waters. Currently players are going darker water. And I assume that's not just about the dark water, but about the left shift coming down the course. So that's why they go on left. And we can see some of them pumping towards the windward. That's a very nice maneuver, which makes the boat unique and very funny. That pumping allows you to reposition your boat and use the maximum on the coming shift.
Absolutely. Well, pumping, basically, if we want to explain again, is you'll change the heading slightly to kind of get more wind, and then try to come closer to the mark you're aiming for, while maintaining the speed and not slowing down too much. But I'd also want to touch about the zones, the colored zones that you were mentioning, the darker zones and the lighter zones. So in case you didn't know, on Regatta Inshore, you're going to have shifts and you're going to have variations in the wind pressure. And the variations in the wind pressure is going to be represented by the darker zones on the water. So you can see on the water over here, you have a darker zone on the top of the screen, slightly on the right, and you also have like a lighter zone if you look towards the left. So that just means that on the right there is more wind pressure than there is on the left. And you were talking also about the shifts. So to see the incoming shifts, you look at the windsocks at the top of the mini-map top left. You see these 3 red socks that will basically show you the direction of the wind that is to come. So that is the wind that is at the location of the windsocks up there, and then is gonna shift towards the rest of the course.
And also you spot the ship, obviously by the cones, by the windstocks, but you also should pay attention to the patterns themselves, because the patterns can tell you something that the windstocks can't. So ideally you combine both knowledge of the pattern shapes, where are they, what color they are, and how long, how wide they are, and just combine that knowledge and that analysis with the windstocks. And while we were talking, we had some tough negotiations of Bart, Lombrix, and Nelzet on the downwind, and now you can see them in top 5.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, actually the patterns is not something I mention often during the streams, but it's actually very important to be able to read them and expect them, and well, use them to your advantage, because the wind pressure and the shifts isn't everything, so there's a lot of different variables that you have to take into account in eSailing and in sailing, and that is just one of them. So that was the last gate, currently on a downwind towards the last mark, and then a reaching finish. Yep, there we have them. So first is Noze Acosta, and second Alex K. So Alex K back into it, back into the top 5. And then third Kazuki. So you mentioned him, Ame, as one of a strong Japanese sailor, very consistent. So far he's done 5, 12, and 3, so we'll put the 12 as a hiccup, and hopefully we don't jinx it for the rest of his races. And last race is going to start in a minute. Surfaced PUBG. Hi everyone, Shiko here. Hi Shiko, nice to see you in the chat.
Hi Chica, and we see some position changes. Fiddlefin was leading the fleet, and now with his lost position, 18th, lost because they were only 18 belts in the previous race. One was disconnected. He's moved to 10th, which is not over for him, but makes his qualification attempt much more difficult.
Yep, that 18 is going to hurt him, but he's still in the top 10, and there is 26, 14, so there's 12 points difference between the first and the 10th.
And we see Alex K proving that if you have a bad result, you should cover it with some extra inconsistency. So he has force, which put him force in the third race, which put him back to the podium.
Yep, absolutely. So start procedure has begun. They have almost a minute to position themselves right now. The penalties are going to apply after the minute mark. So after this 1 minute, penalties will be applied. And so the J70, probably one of the favorite boats of the community. I repeat that every time, but because it's true. Very well balanced boat, not too fast, not too slow, neither. Good balance between strategy and speed, and a very how'd you say it? Like very easy to maneuver.
Yeah, the steering is amazing on this build. That's why it is so much preferred by the community. And it's pretty nice to see the left of the line, the pin area, pretty empty. 15 seconds before the start, which is probably. Well, probably there is a big left shift, but it's very nice to see there's 1/4 of the line utterly empty.
And looks like we had 2 false start from FC Rich and Ramon Perejo. So the reason why you see them go back over there is because when you do a false start in eSailing, you have to go back behind the start line and do the start again. So it's a double penalty in the sense that you are slowed down for 10 seconds for doing a false start, and then you need to go back and start again for doing the false start. So hopefully they can catch up again if they have like a good shift, good some good wind pressure, and depending on how they fight in front, maybe they can climb the places again. But so far it is Stefan Gedzan, Kazuki, and Mike, who are leading the fleet according to the ranking on the left. 3 players that we've already talked about. And Surface the PUBG is saying that the Japanese squad is doing great every championship. That is true. We do see these Japanese players who are all part of their national team. National team being for the Nations Cup. And have a very strong level in fleet racing, and their team racing level is increasing year after year. So they're becoming real contenders in the eSailing scene.
And now boats tack to the right side, they are going to the right play line. As you can see, the darker area, the darker pattern, is going down the course. So the boats use the maximum of the left ship, and now they're going to the next one to build more ground, to use the shorter course over the shorter course over the distance.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, the ley line is this imaginary line that you've just explained. Oh, and I see. Well, we see Fun Pigeon in second position right now. Another player from GBR. Yeah,
also GBR tugboat. He's a very frequent final player, and also a boat that is capable to do some great result. I'm not sure he's in peak of his form tonight. Seems he's struggling, but it's good to see him in the top of this fleet, and anything is possible. So let's see. Let's just enjoy the nice show.
Let's cross our fingers for him. Von Pigeon is currently 14th in the overall ranking with 40 points. He did 18th on the first race, 15th on the second race, and 7th on the third. So he is improving his score, but he's going to have to hang in tight if he wants to aim for the top 5, who are at currently 21 points. So almost half of his current points.
And we have our leaders. And the spreader luck, Sidlofin and Alex K. Sidlofin decided to cover his last result and showing a great performance for him tonight. Well-based split, you see this maneuver from Sidlofin, that's a very smart and tactical maneuver. He goes into the light pressure, but this is how he escapes the boats diving over him. And as you can see now, Alex K is covered by some other boats, whereas Sidlofin is going in the clean air and is sneaking in front. Yep. What makes this race even more exciting and tricky is that we have some really hard ship at the bottom of the course, at the bottom right ley line. So the boats were going to the far right corner, and then they faced a really strong ship. So we witness some hard position changes. But Sidlofin is very lucky he escaped that messy situation. Now he's comfortably leading the race.
Yep, looks like he has a 80-meter lead, more or less, onto Alex K and Bart, although they're catching up because they're going faster on downwind than he is in upwind. But looks like he's going to, if everything goes well, he has it in the bag for this race. And touching wood for him, I'm not jinxing it. So this challenge actually part of the One Provence challenge on Inshore, the competition. I haven't really talked about it yet this stream. One Provence, so Provence is actually a region in south of France that will host part of the Olympics, the sailing part of the Olympics for Paris 2024, which is why we're sailing in Marseille South Harbor in the background that you see on the course. And why they wanted to do this? Well, they wanted to get closer to the sailing community and offer some gifts when the challenge is over. So as soon as we have more information on the gifts that they're gonna share, we'll obviously communicate on them, and it's likely gonna be something linked to the Provence region. And Gold Room Tunes, Sidelow, crushing it, great guy. We love to see it, absolutely. And he needed it after his performance during race 3 in the Nacra. Currently sitting 11th with 26 points, so only 5 points behind number 5, who is Deja Vu with 21 points. So he is still absolutely in the competition.
Sheila is definitely on the business and a very good position for Alex K. He's still in second, and this will definitely play well for his overall result. And Goldrum, who's just from the United States, he raised a very nice point that 9 competitors are from the world top 20 ranking, and he made some prediction. So if our viewers can make their prediction, that would be very nice, because we obviously can't do this, but you can.
Absolutely. So predictions from Goldroom was Alex K, 42, Kazuki, Stud Coach, and Bart. If you disagree with his prediction, let us know, and let us know who are you predicting to be in the top 5 at the end of the 5 races. This is currently race 4, so this is the before last race. So a very important race. If you need to catch up some points, you need to finish in the top of the fleet. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to stay in this top 5 position. And absolutely good to see Deja Vu again. Currently 5th in the race and 5th in the overall ranking. So if he keeps this, he should stay 5th at the end.
Yeah, we have only 5 races. That's not a long regatta, and this makes it really difficult, because all 20 boats, well, 19 actually, are very strong, and you don't, even if some boat is very consistent, the player is very consistent and strong, there can happen one race where he does bad, just because all players have some tension. They know they have not so many. They have some risk. Boats are aggressive here. They want to grasp the better position, and that, as I mentioned earlier, this makes this final difficult.
Yep.
And now we see on the podium some boats are some consistent boats are fighting some inconsistent boats, and I want to point out attention to Nalzat, who is leading the overall results at the moment, but currently he's struggling at the back of the plate.
Absolutely, 14th is gonna hurt his score, as Finn is the first one to cross, followed by Alex K and Bart. Alex K so currently 2nd overall with 19 points, and Bart is 8th overall with 23 points, so still very close. Very consistent racing from Bart, 9, 9, and then 5. He'll have to do better than 5 to stay in the top 5, and he did just there with 3rd. And we'll see how the last race goes for him. So yeah, last race is going to start in 3 minutes. It's going to be the Star again. And so we'll see how the players fare in the second race of the Star and the last race of this final. This is the last chance for them to reach the top 5. Alex K back into his first position just before the Star, so he liked the Star in the first race, won 14th, 4-2, so the 14th was definitely a hiccup. Deja Vu still hanging in there with second place, 25 points, 7, 5, 9, and 4. And Nozet barely dropped down with 26 points, 8, 4, 2, and 12. So he is still in there, he's still in the top 5, he needs to get back to being into the finishing in the top of the leaderboard at the end of the race, if he wants to maintain it. Also in the top 5 is Bart Lambrix with 26 points, so equal in the points with Nozet with 9, 9, 5, 3. And then Shadelo Finn 27, equal with Kazuki with 6, 2, 18, and 1, and Kazuki 5, 12, 3, and 7. Currently waiting for 2 more players to join the arena. And the last race in the Star is about to start.
And it's a pretty close race. We have 2 people with 26 points, Sharon 3rd and 4th, and 2 people with 27 points, Sharon 5th and 6th, so top 5 is not decided yet, and we can't say anyone is safe, probably, but Alex.
Yeah, there is only 10 points different between 1st and 7th just to show you how close the
Would be nice to follow Alex in this race. I assume him doing some very safe race. He probably wouldn't like to risk and just enjoy some plein air separation sailing from the others. But let's see.
And yeah, and Gold Room Tunes Schleg is right to point out only 10 points between 2nd and 9th as well. 25 to 35.
We have a few other boats who we forget to mention. That's Bra 52313. I believe his name is Cahu. Another fast Brazilian boat. Currently at the 18th. A bit of unlucky this tonight, but very good to see him in the final, and we wish him good luck in the next one.
Absolutely. Bri 52313 is formerly known as Kahu. One of the 2 Brazilians in this final before Harder dropped out. That we do see more regularly in the finals this year. I don't remember seeing him a lot in last year, but I did see him several times this year, so it's good to see that he's increased in level and can compete with the creme de la creme, like the French say it. As the race has just started, it looks like we have a bunch of them who decided to go on start at the pin end. The pin end is basically the mark opposite to the committee boat during the start.
Very good start from Bart Lombrix. He won the pin, he was first to tack, and he's now enjoying the good lap shift, which is lifting him up the course and allows him to run the mark first, unless he faces any significant right supply, which will probably let him escape the rest of the fleet and qualify himself to the grand final.
Yep. Bart currently 4th with 26 points. 9953. So he's been increasing his score throughout the competition and staying very consistent, so improving his consistency basically. And if he can keep that, he's going to be in the top 5 and he's going to qualify for the grand final.
We see Nelzet experiencing some difficulties in this race, which opens the door to the final to Kizuki, who is currently in a good position, and Shidlofin is also not looking bad.
Absolutely. Talking about Nelzet, he is currently currently 3rd, and he finished 8th during the first of the star races. So apparently not his favorite boat, but he still has some good level, and hopefully for him he can stay in it. With 26 points, it's going to be tight.
But now we have some intersection. I'm not sure it's a tight intersection according to this angle, but we see Kazuki coming on starboard and Bart Lambrix coming in port. And it looks like Kazuki, yeah, he definitely have rights on him.
Yep.
Bart Lambrix has to give him way, but it's still good for Bart since he's 2nd. It's still very safe for him, and he's going to qualify.
Yeah. If he scores seconds, he's gonna stay in the top 5. There's no issue. He's probably gonna want to play it safe. Although he is right behind Kazuki, slowing him down, but Alex K and all the rest of the fleet are behind them, so everyone is slowing each other down. This light zone that you see in front of the sails inside of the boat is called the wind shadow, so basically it's the wind. It's the area where there is no more wind because the wind is blocked by the sails of the boats behind. And that's how you slow down your opponents when you're behind them in downwind.
And a very good tactic from Alex K, as you see. He was just VMGing from the mark, not to the cleanest air and not to the fastest patch, but he is just using the shortest way to the mark, having advantage of those boats who are covering him being covered by the boats at the back.
Yep, absolutely. So if we look at the speeds of the boat, we have Deja Vu Mike. Actually, this is going to hurt him. Currently 15th, going at 5.7. And if you look at Bart, he's going at 4.8 knots. So
Mike
he's
and
definitely
some
this.
other boats.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that Mark and some other boats at the back are consolidating. They know they will lose a lot if they fight, so they split and they push some massive shadow to the mid runners to catch up and fight for a better place.
Yep, absolutely. And so yeah, Gold Room Schleg is already qualified in the final, so he didn't need to race over here, Shiko. And then Gold Room is saying you just wanted to hear Ame's beautiful voice. So it looks like you have your fan club in the chat, Ame.
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad for interrupting you sometimes. Sorry for that. I'm just trying to pick your rhythm. Anyway, my apologies.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Kazuki currently first, leading Stéphane Gazan by 40-ish meters. Stéphane Gazan, who is in 9th overall with 35 points, 12, 3, 12, and 8. He is going to want to score as low as possible.
And everyone in top 10 can qualify, so it's all about the last. So they will fight till the very last moment.
Yep, agreed.
And in 7th position, we see some boat we didn't mention, that Eisen 2770. Another underdog, another newbie joining the professional league this year, which I saw him this year in some finals. And it's very nice to see some new boat joining the grand final of the top league.
He had a tough final so far, 19th, 18th, 16th, and 14th. So currently before last in the fleet. But he is regularly qualifying into the final, so his level is just going to increase as he gets more experience in these events with the top players. And obviously he can join the several Discord communities that exist that you can join via the Inshore Discord. You can meet other eSailors who create their own events and their own leagues. I don't know if Ame, you want to talk about some of the events that you're maybe organizing with other members of the community. I know Schlick, for example, in the chat is organizing some of them. Go for it.
Just a long introduction. And just to begin with, I want to mention that the level in the blue series and the orange series and the Regatta series is very different. So some boats that are making a top score, they sometimes, especially the newbies, newcomers to the grand final, they struggle in the grand final because the pressure is very different to the blue series regular races, and it's obviously much more difficult to race in this fleet where everyone is experienced, where everyone knows how to deal with that pressure, and some players, they really struggled to perform well. And in order to improve level, the ESL server and Pan American server has regular regattas. That's Apache Racing and ESL F50 Racing on ESL server, and Pan American Cup on Flag Panam server. And as far as I know, they are doing some Vespucci Cup soon, which is a 4 or 5 regatta series. So I would recommend everyone who's willing to improve, who is willing to learn how to deal with pressure, to go there and just race. And this will definitely give you some great experience into your deck, and will help you to perform better and might qualify you into some grand finals. So best of luck.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I'll put the link of the Inshore Discord in the chat, and you can find the links to the other community servers and link up with other members of the community if you want to increase your level, and hopefully you too be in one of these events, in one of these finals, because we're going to have more events coming in for the rest of the year. So this is just the beginning. And surfaced Punji Soshiko. I'm assuming he's talking to Schleg with you should do a playlist of your sets for the background music. You're right, Schleg, if I think you're a DJ or of some sort at least. So if you have music that you want to put in the background of the streams, it's I'm more than happy to contact you, and we can set that up. So last race in the store, we have Bart Lambrix finishing first, followed by Stéphane Gazan. Kazuki first, Bart Lambrix second, Stéphane Gazan third, FC Rich fourth, Finn fifth, Alex K 6th, Izan 7th, Fun Pigeon 8th, 9th, Stipe Coach, and 10th, Lorenzo 42. And we'll see in a second how this updates the overall score. As a reminder, currently, before the update, Alex K is first with 21 points, Deja Vu is second with 25, Nose third with 26, fourth is Bart with 26 as well, fifth is Sidelo, equal with Kazuki with 27 points. So let's look at them. Alex K maintaining his first position with 27 points. Kazuki second with 28 points. Finishing first definitely helped him. Bart Lambrix managed to stay into his third position with 28 points as well. And Shidlo Finn 32 points, 6-2, 18, 1-5. Stayed in the top 5 as well. And Noze managed to secure his fifth position as well, even though it wasn't that bright for him at the beginning of race 4 and race 5. Did manage to hang in there thanks to his previous scores in the first 5 races. So these are our 5 players who have qualified for the One Provence Challenge Grand Final happening on June 8th of June. That's a Saturday. I believe that's the first Saturday of June. Where it's going to be the 5 players from each Challenge Final. So 5 players from Challenge 1 Final, 5 players from Challenge 2 Final, 5 players from Challenge 3 Final. It's going to be the first player from the general ranking that you can see next to the eSailing World Championship tab in the game. You'll see the One Provence ranking. So one from the best from the overall ranking who's not yet qualified. Then the top 2 male players and the top 2 female players not yet qualified. So if you are participating and you haven't detailed your account yet, make sure you do it so that you are contacted to join the grand final at the end of Challenge 3. Challenge 3 is going to start tomorrow at 6 p.m. CEST with the Far East 28R. It's going to last 3 days long, and you have to do a best set of 10 races in a row. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Thanks for the nice stream, bye all. Thank you so much, Gatomio. Thank you so much, Ame, for being here with me tonight and commentating with me. If you have any last words.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and maybe the last word is regarding the Deja Vu. He was showing some very great performance, but I saw him taking a penalty at the third, and that's how you can lose everything. So there is a problem that you can't really win the race at the third, but you can definitely lose it. So I would like to wish all the players good luck and never give up. So if you struggle this time, just go for the next one.
Absolutely, Deja Vu, hard to see this, and indeed he struggled during the last race, falling to 15th. But that's just an excuse to participate in the third challenge and qualify in the top 20 again. As a reminder, those who have qualified in the top 5 tonight are not going to be able to participate in the Challenge 3 final. So you won't be playing against these 5 players again. It's going to be new players, 5 other players replacing them. But the level is still going to be high. So get your practice in during the One Provence Challenge 3 final. Get your practice in by joining other communities, as Ame previously said. Thank you so much for watching. This was Oscar, your host, with Ame. And we'll see you all in the next one.